Okay, welcome back to the channel. In this clip, I'm gonna be talking about death. Damn, go. I wrote an outline right here and I'm still trying to freestyle it. Anyway, I am talking about death in this next clip, but not in the dark way. I'm talking about in the imaginative way, like in the what if kind of way. Like, what is it? What happens? Where do you go? Like, don't you ever think about it? Just like how it works. Like, so this clip is from my podcast, Common Sense from the Collective Consciousness. Anything I say on this clip might sound like common sense to you or anyone who's smarter than me or who spent more time thinking about it than I have. But I'm on my own journey at my own pace. And if I happen to contradict anything I've said in the past, it's just a result of my growth or my ability to see things from another perspective. Now, this clip is from 2017, so I might... Anyway, I was gonna say something that sounds like I'm ashamed of my younger self, but I listened back to it and I was like, nah, it's still valid. But anyway, like it, comment on it, leave your feedback below. What else? Yep, I'm just gonna go down this list. I'm just gonna read this fucking outline like a robot because I can't freestyle it. I'm trying to freestyle it and I'm halfway freestyling it, but I'm still looking at the paper. But anyway, blah blah blah. What it says on my paper, I can't even read my own handwriting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, ring the bell. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you can see the next piece of random content I put out. I might put out some music. I might put out one of these talking videos. I might put out a basketball tutorial. I might be talking about something completely left field other than this metaphysical stuff. But thanks for listening. I hope you laugh. I hope you learn. I hope you can relate. Here it is, I guess. I was thinking about death. You know, as you do, as humans do, as we all do, you know. But I wasn't thinking about the usual, like, how am I gonna die? How do I want to die? I wasn't even thinking about me dying. I was just thinking about death in general. Not for any particular reason, either. Just out of normal human curiosity. I know it might seem scary to some people to think about death, but to me, thinking about death isn't really that scary. Not to say that I'm not scared of death. Obviously, everyone is. But I'm not, like, paralyzed by my fear of death so much to the point where I can't even think about it. It's not really, like, fear of the death itself. It's just fear of the unknown. I think that's what it is that people are really scared of, is just, like, not knowing what's gonna happen afterwards. Not knowing how it's gonna happen. Fear of the unknown. That's kind of weird too, because like we as humans fear the unknown, but then we're so drawn to it and we attach things to it. That's weird. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think the reason why I don't fear hell is because, I fucked it up. The reason why I don't fear death is because I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in hell being in afterlife, place, or, whatever the fuck you attach to hell, whatever you identify hell with, as the narrative describes it or characterizes it. I don't believe in that. I don't really subscribe to, like, hell being a afterlife place. That's one of the reasons why I can't even say I don't fear death, but I'm not scared of death and like, oh my God, it's like, there's not that kind of anxiety towards it. Like I said, I think heaven and hell is like here and now, like on earth, like the actual real physical experienceable. What the fuck is wrong with my brain? I can't say words. I think the actual real tangible places on earth, like able to be experienced physically and, through states of mind. I don't think you have to die to experience heaven or hell. Well, if I don't think heaven and hell are the afterlife, then what do I think happens after life? I don't know. I think anything is possible. I think, well, the thing I most strongly identify with is that you just become one with everything. Think about how, like, if you were to just die in the middle of a field and your body was to just lay there and rot and decompose and disintegrate and then just get absorbed into the soil, or maybe some animals will eat you, and whatever's left will disintegrate into the soil, or whatever. You're still becoming one with everything. Like, you're becoming one with the soil. You're becoming nutrients for the soil, for the earth, or the animals that ate you, which will also then die, decompose, disintegrate, and become, nutrients for the earth. You're still becoming one with everything. I would think that your consciousness would do the same thing. There will be no individual. It will just all be just one. It won't be, my soul, his soul, her soul, this soul, that soul. It will become part of this one thing. And then I think about reincarnation, which is also a possibility. By the way, I have no proof of any of this except for the physical. But I was just thinking, maybe when you do die and you become one, part of this one collective thing that everyone comes from, maybe you'll come from it again in a different configuration, in a different time, in a different place. It's possible. It's possible, I think. I think time doesn't exist, after death. That collective consciousness can't be constrained by time or space. I think maybe the amount of time it takes you to reincarnate from, after your death into your new configuration, into your reincarnated consciousness. I think the time it takes between those two points is probably the smallest quantum measurement of time even fathomable, possible. The smallest time it takes to pass by for something not to be instantaneous. Maybe that's how little time it takes between death and, reincarnation. If you're going by the scale of minutes or seconds or, regular human time. In actual time, it might be 1,000 years. You might die right now and fucking reincarnate in the year 3,400. And that could just have been a blink, a literal blink. How in your dreams, so much time passes by and you see so much shit happen and you experience so much shit, especially during those little 15-minute, not even 15-minute, those little 5-minute nod off day naps that you have. And so much shit happens and so much time passes and you fucking wake up and 5 minutes pass and you're like, what the fuck? Maybe it's like that on a larger scale. Speaking of time, it's 8:28 p.m. Thursday, March 2nd, 2017. Well, it was that time. The time is now, actually. If I really want to be specific. But I'm just saying, the moment consciousness leaves your physical body and, between that time and the time your consciousness reincarnates some other configuration could just be a blink. From the time your consciousness leaves your body to the time you're born somewhere else and you open your eyes for the first time somewhere else could be a fucking blink. It could be 2,000 years, but then on the grand scale, it could just be a blink. And everything in between just cannot be constrained, with the measurements of time. Maybe that's death. Maybe that's, what happens after death. Regardless of what happens, here and now on Earth. I mean, in terms of heaven and hell and shit like that. In terms of thinking of heaven and hell as an afterlife or whatever. I remember on the first episode, when I talked about balloon theory and the collective consciousness. Well, my balloon theory. I say balloon theory like somebody, came up with it and I read it or whatever. I mean, I got it from somewhere, I guess, but I put it together in my head and I named it balloon theory. Basically, say your consciousness is like air in a balloon. Everybody has air in their balloon. As you get older or as you get closer to death, wherever your death is, you don't know, your balloon inflates with air. And I would think that death is like an explosion of consciousness. So like a popping of the balloon. And when the balloon pops, the air goes everywhere and anywhere. Or anywhere and everywhere, whatever. Right? But same thing like with your consciousness. When you die and your consciousness leaves your body, it goes everywhere and anywhere. And it becomes part of all of the consciousness around it. Like the air, when it leaves a balloon, becomes part of all of the air that's around it. It's no longer confined to that balloon. Oh, and I can't prove that. Just like nobody can prove heaven and hell. Heaven or hell. Whatever. So I guess it's whatever makes you comfortable. Whatever helps you come to terms with what death is. You may connect things that are correlated with each other and say, oh, well, that must be proof of this or proof of that. Like somebody had a story of some sort of out-of-body experience or some shit like that. But it doesn't really prove it. Hey, so what about, other people that died before you and, people that you might want to see in the afterlife? As a human with emotions and attachments, you can't help but wonder, will you see them again? I have no idea. But you really do want to, though. Even thinking about it just makes me kind of heavy. Just thinking, my mom died when I was 2. And I always thought, would I ever, when I die, would I ever get to see her again? Like, when I die, would there be a heaven and I'll go back to see her again? Right? So that would kind of, me not believing in, heaven as an afterlife place where you see all your relatives and stuff like that, it would kind of kill that dream of seeing, lost loved ones, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. I do think it's something nice to look forward to, at the end of life, something to aspire towards. But in actuality, I don't think it happens that way. Even though I have no fucking idea. So and there's no proof. There's nothing to study. There's shit to study, but it's all theories. It's all just different people's ideas and perspectives on what they think happens based on, shit they've experienced and seen other people experience. Shit that they read about other people's experience and observations of other people's experiences. But there's no hard science on the metaphysical aspects of death itself. Well, the afterlife. Also, at one point, I did think that the afterlife is can be whatever you believe it to be. I still think that whatever you believe, you make it real. If it's real to you, then it's real. So if you believe something really strongly, in heaven or whatever you want to believe in, if you stay true to that and you believe that all the way till the day you die, maybe that is really what you see at the end of your life. If you believe there's nothing and you just die and it's pure blackness and darkness and that blackness and darkness, I can't talk today, right now. And I'm caffeinated. What the fuck? You'd think I'd be able to speak better on caffeine. But yeah, what if it's just straight nothingness? If that's what you think it is when you die, you know, in the afterlife, maybe that's really what happens to whoever believes that. Basically, you create your own afterlife in your mind. That actually feels like it makes sense too. And who's to say it's not that? Who can say, what the afterlife objectively is? If you believe in like pearly gates and some judgment day line where you're waiting to see whether you go into heaven or hell, maybe if you believe that, maybe that really is what happens. Like, who knows? But I think you become part of something a lot bigger than just the afterlife and just, like the heaven part and like seeing your loved ones and stuff like that. You become one with everything, like all of that. It doesn't exclude any of that. It includes everything. Maybe you do experience all of that within the blink of an eye, and then maybe it's all of those things combined. Maybe you experience all of those things in the blink of an eye, and then open your eyes and wake up, being delivered. Or maybe you wake up from some fucking head trauma accident and not knowing what not knowing what happened. You're fully grown and you're in a hospital bed and you're like, what the fuck happened? You're just completely wiped clean, and then it's like you started off, in the middle of somebody's saved game. Maybe that's what happens when people like have like head trauma and then develop like personality disorders. Maybe it's that kind of thing. Maybe it's like a whole nother soul reincarnating into that already grown person who needed some sort of traumatic brain experience in order to shake up their consciousness. Like, who the fuck knows? We'll just find out when we die, right? We'll find out. Hey, maybe the closer in the quote-unquote right direction you get in like one of your lives, like maybe you die and then you reincarnate with a head start towards, some sort of, I guess, nirvana, complete enlightenment. Now I'm getting into like a whole nother religion's beliefs or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe that's the point of expanding your consciousness while you're here on Earth, so you can have a head start in your next life. Not necessarily like from birth, like you're born with all the knowledge that you learned from like your last life, but maybe you have like a higher capacity to learn more stuff or become enlightened in this life or the next life. I mean, isn't this fun? Isn't this like, entertaining to just think about what would happen? Just make up fantasies and make believe about like what you think happens in the afterlife, like after you die, like after you leave this, state of consciousness. Isn't it fun? I spent 17 minutes doing this. Pure fucking make-believe. I feel like it's okay because I'm not like trying to like attach myself to it too strongly or shove it down anybody's throats like it's the absolute fucking truth and nothing else could be possible ever, possibly. I don't feel that way, and I don't think anybody else should feel that way. But yeah, those are just the ways I think of death. Not the scary way, not the fire and brimstone and eternal torture or whatever the fuck kind of way. Just in an open-minded, anything is possible kind of way. But enough about death. How about life? I was on the train today on my way to work, I didn't wear my headphones. I was just taking in shit. Just appreciating life for the for everything it is, I guess. Just being alive in general. Being able to experience life in general. Appreciating my own perspective. Everybody's experiencing life from their own perspective, right? Just thinking about it brings me sadness and joy at the same time. Should I say joy and sadness? I don't know. Well, I guess I should say sadness. Bring the bad news before the good news, right? Here we go. I get sad because there are people who can't experience my life the way I experience it. Not even my life, just experience life in general the way I experience it. There are people who don't have a job. There's people who are sick. There's people who don't have 2 arms and 2 legs. There's people who can't see, people who can't hear, people who can't walk or talk. Whatever it is, whatever their shortcoming might be. But yet they're still experiencing this same life without those things that I enjoy, I guess. And when I say enjoy, I like put it in perspective and I go, wait, that's right. I should enjoy those things. I should enjoy having 2 arms and 2 legs, being able to walk and run and speak and think and see and hear and fucking just experience life the way I experience it. And that's what brings me the joy. It's like, yo, I'm alive. I'm here. I'm now. You could look at all the negative shit that's going on and focus on that. Or you could focus on the fact that you enjoy things that people don't enjoy, but yet are experiencing the same life that you're experiencing from a different perspective without those things that you should be enjoying, which I might have just said. Oh, what I meant to say is you can look at all the things that you don't have, like your shortcomings or whatever, and then put them in perspective to people who don't have as much as you do, or not even to say as much, but just don't have what you do. So I was just thinking to myself, yo, even though I do look, aspire to do more and have more and shit like that, I still love life the way it is now. Like, I still love life even though I don't have $1 million. I still love life even though I'm not married with children with a big ass house. I still love life even though I make music and I'm not famous. I still love life even though I play basketball and I'm not in the NBA. Like, I still love life the way it is. Experiencing life the way I experience it is a blessing. Even though I don't have $1 million, even though I don't travel the world, even though I don't have all of the fucking worldly desires that I, see and want. Desire? Clearly. Hey, I noticed that, I should say that I think everyone should put it in perspective and see it that way. No matter how much you don't have. Now, I meant to say that I didn't say the disclaimers on the last episode, and I'm 21 minutes in, and I haven't said it on this episode yet. Anything that I say or realize may seem like common sense to you or anybody who's smarter than me or who has spent more time thinking about it than I have. But I'm on my own journey at my own pace, and anything I say that may contradict something that I might have said in the past is only a result of my growth or my ability to see it from another perspective.